Welcome to the 14th chapter of the book of Hosea, and we're continuing now with God's judgment against Israel, Samaria, Ephraim, the northern kingdom. It's strange that how the southern kingdom continued long after uh, the demise of the northern kingdom when the people were taken away, but yet thousands of years later when a country is rebuilt for the Jews to live in, it's called Israel and not Judea. In chapter 14 will be also featuring all of the uh, personal pronouns in this chapter that we've went over so far. It begins in verse 1, Epistrophi Israel pros Kyrion ton theon su. Theotes thenisas entes adhikias su. Return, O Israel, to Kyrion, ton theon su. Theon, theology, your God of you, the God of you it could be. Return, O Israel, to uh, the Lord, the God of you. For you are weakened by your iniquities, or by the iniquities of you. Verse 2. Lavete methiavton logus ke epistraphite proskyrion, ipate avto, opos me lavite adhikian, ke lavite agatha, ke antipodosomen, karpon hileon imon. Take after your own words the logos and prologue, and return to Kyrion. Speak to him. Uh, Return to God. They're weakened by their iniquities and they will be taken away, but the last plea by possibly the prophet here, take after your own words. Do what you really want to do, what you should do, whether in the words or in the book, the Holy Bible that they had at the time. And return to the Lord. Speak to him so that you should not receive for your iniquities. As speak to him or plead more or less that you should not receive for your iniquities, and so that you should receive good things rather than it says, and we will recompense the fruit of our lips, or be recompensed by the evil iniquities. It won't be fruit, it will be destruction, and this is what they chose. Carpone, we have carpo for fruit bearing in verse 3. Asur umi sosi imas, epipon uk anavisometha, uketi umi iposen theimon tis ergis ton hieron imon, os ensi eleisi orphanon. Assyria in no way shall deliver us. So Assyria is actually going to be the one that destroys them. The sosi, that word is in the New Testament is to save. Here you can see it's not used in anything with any type of eonial salvation, as when we go over from one side to the other. It's to deliver us. Himas is second person singular. Imon is a second person plural. We have the fruit of our lips. In no way should you deliver imas, us. I'm sorry, that's also uh, in the plural. And that is the accusative. Upon a horse, epon, hippopotamus, hippo, epon, river horse is a hippopotamus. The potomi is a river, potamos. Upon a horse we shall not ascend. No longer in any way should we say, Theimon, our gods. The ita shows that it's a plural. We're not going to say our gods to the ergis, ergonomics, works of our hieron, here chiropractor, the works of our hands, imon. The one among you shall show mercy on the orphan. And C is a dative, the one among you, in you, shall show mercy on the orphanon. Orphanon is almost a direct transliteration into English. Verse 4, Iasome tas katikias avton, agapiso avtus homologus, oti apestripsin orgimu ap avton. I will repair their dwellings, avton, plural. I will love them, confessedly, God says. For my anger, the orgy, an orgy, a frenzy, my anger turned from them. So God is here talking about a future time. Actually, the country will be destroyed relatively soon, 40 more years. Ke esome os drosos to Israel, anthisi os krinon, ke vali tas rizas avtu os Livanos. And I will be as dew to Israel. Now, I believe we're talking about the Israel that's today in 2009. It became a country in 1948. I will be as dew to Israel, something with moisture that they had need of in the Middle East where it's dry. He shall bloom as a lily, and shall cast his roots as Lebanon, volley and ballistic, throwing. His rhizos, a rhizome, a root, uh, a cluster of roots, as Lebanon, and Israel has cast its roots out in 2 or 3 wars. They've taken over Jerusalem, the West Bank, Gaza, and they even went into the Sinai all the way to the Nile River, and I don't think they're done yet. Verse 6, Porevson te ikladi avtu, ke este os elea kata karpos, ke I osphra sia avtu os livanu. 1, his branches, or the branches of him, could be. 2, shall go forth, and he will be as a fruitful olive, elea, oil. And his smell of too, or the smell of him, as Lebanon. Lebanon had all these beautiful pine trees, and the smell going through them must have been wonderful. I live in the North Pacific Northwest and go through some of these forests, and the smell is just unbelievable, something you can't describe. If you live in the Midwest, and I'm sure you have your other odors there, but the pines are just very pungent and very refreshing smell. They use pine for using it for different chemicals to give it a nice smell. And cypress woods and different types of woods that they use, the cedar, in wooden chests to preserve clothes and different objects that are valuable, and these wonderful, beautiful smelling woods. In verse 7, Epistrepsusi ke kathiunte epo tin skepin avtu, zisonte ke styrik thisonte, cito ke exan thisusin os ampelos to minimosinon avtu os enos livanu. They shall return and sit under his protection. Israel, they will return and sit under his skepin, protection. So it's not in their horses and their armaments, but when it really basically comes down to it, Israel is so small it really can't protect itself. But God protects them. They shall live and shall be firmly fixed in grain. Cito is, we have a parasite, which is para is Greek word by, grain. It's a parasite is something that lives off of that organism that lives off of other animals or greenery. And they shall blossom as a grapevine. The memorial, menimosinon, we have the meni, mention is the derivative, the mini ipsilon. The memorial of him is as the wine of Lebanon, Israel, and is as the enos, vino. Verse 8, to Ephraim, ti avto eti ke idolis, ego etapinosa avton, ke katiskiso avton, ego os arkevthos, pikazusa, exemu o karposu evrite. To Ephraim, that's the northern kingdom, what is there to him? Avto, to him. Yet, and to idols. Idolis, an idol. Almost a direct transliteration there. So Israel, when it comes back, is not going to have idols. Ego, the ego. I humbled him. Yes, he did humble Israel, sent them away for thousands of years. And I shall strengthen him. Ego, I am as a juniper being dense. From me, ex emu, your fruit, karpos, has been found. From God it comes from the strength. In verse 9, it ends, ti sophos ke sinisi tavta, sinetos, ke epigenosite avta, oti ev thie, o thee to Kyriou, ke dikei porevsonte en avtes, ide asavis asthenisusin en avtes. Who is sophos? Who is wise, philosophy, Sophie. Who is wise and perceives these things, discerning and recognizes them, avta. For straight are the ways, O thee, cathode, way of the current, ways of the Lord, and the just shall go by them. And the just shall go by these straight ways. But the impious shall weaken in them. So the people that are going the ways of the Lord will be strengthened by the Lord. And to the ones that are impious, that are going in the ways that impious people go, do the things, they shall be weakened. And this is the result of walking with God. It talks about the way in the New Testament. The earliest names for the Christians was the way. We're told it's a way. And the way can go straight, but there are these roads that go off on the side, take you to different places instead of the main road that goes to the Lord, although it is narrow, Jesus says, and few find it, because as people are going on this freeway, is going to the Lord, there are all these turnoffs, and Satan has his ways of causing people to turn off from the way of the Lord and go into the path that doing evil and sinning and all kinds of problems to eventually be destroyed. And so the prophet Hosea has been told these things and has delivered them to the people of his time, and he has delivered them to Israel of today, that people that read Hosea, and it's also given it to us, the nations, the people who aren't the Jews, to go by the way of the Lord. So this ends the book of Hosea, and our next writer will be Peter. I hope you will join us, and God bless.